Singh University, Rewa, Madhya Pradesh. We welcome you, sir. I am delighted to welcome key speaker, Professor P.K. Singh, sir. He's a director, MDI, Gurugram, Haryana. We heartily welcome you, sir. Now, it gives me immense pleasure to welcome our guest of honor, Ms. Sita Saminathan, ma'am. She's the director, Stephen Business School, Mauritius. It's really our pleasure to have you here with us through this technology. We welcome you, ma'am. I'm glad to welcome industry expert Mr. Sandeep Singh, arbitrator, Palm Oil Refiners Association of Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. We welcome you, sir. We are happy to have special guest Mr. Sunil Singh, sir. He is the president of Aroma and managing director, Badrika Group of Companies, Rewa, Madhya Pradesh. We welcome you, sir. I'd also take the opportunity to welcome Dr. Brajesh Singh, sir, Registrar of Desh Pratap Singh University, Rewa, Madhya Pradesh. We welcome you, sir. I'd like to take the opportunity to welcome the convener of this National E-Conference, Professor Sunil Tiwari, sir. He's a professor in charge, MBA HRD program, APS University, Rewa. We welcome you, sir. Last but not the least, it gives me immense pleasure to extend my warm welcome to the organizing secretary of this National E-Conference, Dean, Faculty of Management Studies, Professor and Head, Department of Business Administration of Desh Pratap Singh University, Rewa. We heartily welcome you, sir. Besides this, I'd also take the opportunity to welcome each and every member of the distinguished audience to this inaugural session of National E-Conference. With this, now proceeding further and starting up with the main schedule of the inaugural session, may I please take the opportunity for giving welcome address. I'd call the convener of National E-Conference, Professor Sunil Tiwari, sir, for giving the welcome address to our guests and participants. I request Sunil, sir.
थैंक यू श्वेता। अवधेश प्रताप सिंह विश्वविद्यालय रीवा के तत्वाधान में त्रिदिवसीय ई कॉन्फ्रेंस चैलेंजेस एंड स्ट्रेटजीज ऑफ बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट पोस्ट कोविड इरा विषय पर दिनांक 15 से 17 जून 2020 तक आयोजित की जा रही है। आज इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के उद्घाटन अवसर पर कार्यक्रम के मुख्य अतिथि प्रोफेसर नागेश्वर राव, कुलपति इंदिरा गांधी नेशनल ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी नई दिल्ली का मैं स्वागत करता हूं। आप देश ही नहीं वरन अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर के प्रख्यात शिक्षाविद एवं प्रबंध विशेषज्ञ हैं। इसी क्रम में मैं कार्यक्रम की अध्यक्षता कर रहे अपने विश्वविद्यालय के कुलगुरु कुलपति प्रोफेसर पीयूष रंजन अग्रवाल का मैं स्वागत करता हूं, जिनकी प्रेरणा से यह कार्यक्रम के आयोजन की रूपरेखा बनी और इसे हम अल्प समय में पूरी तैयारी के साथ, संजीदगी के साथ आज शुरू करने जा रहे हैं। इसी क्रम में मैं मुख्य वक्ता के रूप में देश के ख्याति लब्ध चिंतक, प्रबंध चिंतक प्रोफेसर पीके सिंह का स्वागत करता हूं। प्रोफेसर पीके सिंह जी की अपनी व्यस्तताओं के बावजूद भी आपने मुझे जो समय दिया है, इस विश्वविद्यालय को जो समय दिया इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के रूप में, आपका मैं धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूं। इसी क्रम में मैं सीता स्वामीनाथन, जो मॉरिशस के पोर्ट लुई के स्टीफन बिजनेस स्कूल से हमारे साथ जुड़ी हुई है और वहां की मेन बिजनेस एजुकेशनल कंसल्टेंट भी हैं, आपका मैं सीता जी स्वागत करता हूं कि आपने हमारे इस आमंत्रण को स्वीकार किया है। इसी कड़ी में मैं विश्वविद्यालय के पूर्व छात्र रहे संदीप सिंह जी का भी स्वागत करता हूं, जो मलेशिया में कार्यरत हैं और इस विश्वविद्यालय के सभी आयोजनों में आपका सहयोग मिलता रहता है। इसी कड़ी में अपने विश्वविद्यालय के एलुमनी एसोसिएशन के प्रेसिडेंट सुनील सिंह जी का, जो पत्रिका ग्रुप ऑफ कंपनीज के मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर हैं, उनका भी मैं स्वागत करता हूं। इसी क्रम में मैं अपने विश्वविद्यालय के कुल सचिव डॉक्टर ब्रजेश सिंह का स्वागत करता हूं, जिन्होंने इस कार्यक्रम की सफलता के लिए हमें हर संभव सहयोग प्रदान किया। इसी क्रम में मैं पूरी जो हमारी ये कार्यक्रम जो आयोजन हो रहा है या कॉन्फ्रेंस की तैयारी की गई है, इसके लिए मैं अपने छोटे भाई सहयोगी प्रोफेसर अतुल पांडे जी का विशेष रूप से स्वागत करता हूं, आभार व्यक्त करता हूं, जिन्होंने पूरे एक सप्ताह से अपनी टीम के साथ लग करके और इस आयोजन को सफल बनाने हेतु कार्य किया है। एक बार पुनः प्रोफेसर अतुल पांडे का विशेष स्वागत है। आज विश्व अर्थव्यवस्था संकट के दौर से गुजर रही है। कोरोना संक्रमण के चलते प्रथम प्रश्न मानवता को इस संकट से उबारना है, वहीं अर्थव्यवस्था को गति प्रदान करने हेतु नई नीतियों का समावेश करना है, जिससे व्यवसाय प्रबंधन के नए मार्गदर्शक सिद्धांतों का समावेश हो सके। हमें इस बात पर पुनः चिंतन करना है कि हमें ऐसी आर्थिक नीतियों का निर्माण करना है कि हमें आर्थिक नीतियों का पुनः रीथिंक करना है, रीबिल्ड करना है, रीऑर्गेनाइज करना है। पर इस सब के साथ जो सबसे मेन बिजनेस का क्वोशेंट होता है, उस स्पिरिचुअल क्वोशेंट को भी ध्यान में रखना है कि जब मानवता रहेगी तभी जो है अर्थव्यवस्था रहेगी। अतः मानवता का प्रश्न सबसे बड़ा प्रश्न है। अर्थव्यवस्था के विकास के साथ मानवता के लिए भी चिंतन करने के लिए यह कॉन्फ्रेंस आयोजित की जा रही है। इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में भाग लेने वाले सभी अतिथियों, शोध पत्र भेजने वाले रिसर्च स्कॉलर्स, आप सभी का स्वागत है। धन्यवाद।
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Now, moving ahead, may I please request the organizing secretary of National E-Conference, Professor Atul Pandey, sir, to please give the welcome address to our guests and participants. Thank you.
Thank you, Sweta. We welcome all of you at this 3-day National E-Conference on Challenges and Strategies in Business Management. It is my honor to welcome the chief guest of the inaugural session, Professor Nageshwar Rao, Vice Chancellor of Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. He is a role model to all of us, and he is always available to us for giving his blessings and support in all kinds of endeavors of this department. He has been associated to this department since its inception, and he very rightly said that ye to mera ghar hai. I welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor P.R. Agrawal sir, who is presiding over today's inaugural session. In fact, he is the only inspiration who insisted us to organize this 3 days event online. We did not have courage to go for 3 days event. We were planning only 1 day event, but he inspired and gave confidence to all of us to organize this full-fledged 3 days event of 6 sessions. We welcome you, sir. Professor P.K. Singh, Director MDI Gurgaon, is very affectionate with all of us. Everyone in our teaching fraternity of this university still remembers his keynote speech, which he delivered in 2018 during our international conference on University Industry Summit for Skill Development of Youth. He's always been very kind and associated with this department. We welcome you, sir. I welcome our guest of honor, Mrs. Sita Samanidhan from Mauritius. She is Director, Stephen Business School, Mauritius, for joining with us. I welcome Mr. Sandeep Singh, our industry expert. He is our alumni. He is a famous name in palm oil industry in Malaysia. He is passed out from this department in 1994. I welcome Mr. Sunil Singh, President of Aroma, our alumni association, and Director, Badrika Group of Industries. He has always been a great support in all our endeavors, howsoever big or small. I welcome our registrar, Dr. Brajesh Singh Ji, who has been a big support in organizing this event. He is one of the patrons of this event. I welcome all the resource persons Professor R.P. Das sir, Dr. John Philip, and all other resource persons of other technical sessions, Mr. Jagdamba Joshi, all the professors of University Teaching Department, officers of the university, faculty members of this department, participants, and all the students. On this day, I remember our mentor, Professor V.C. Sinha sir, who established this department. Due to his ill health, he is unable to join in the inaugural session. I approached him. He has conveyed his blessings to all of us. I very humbly remember him because everything that this institution has been doing, that has been because of his blessings. And most of the resource persons who are joining in this e-conference are associated since his time in this department. I am very happy to share with you all that we have received 300 plus registrations, 70 plus research papers, and we are honored to have the august presence of 20 plus resource persons in this e-conference over these 3 days. It will have 4 technical sessions, one each on general management, finance, marketing, and HR. We have participation from 14 states of this country, and we also have participation from 6 countries. 3 of the resource persons are from 3 different countries, Malaysia, Mauritius, and South Africa. And few of the participants are joining from Singapore, Dubai, and USA. We are going to have paper presentations by selected research scholars in all the technical sessions. On the theme of this conference, Sunil Tiwari sir has already said, and our experts will be speaking. I have only a few words to share. That today we talk a lot about social distancing. It is not social distancing, it is physical distancing that is required. Social connect is very important. So socially we have to be very close to give support to each other in difficult times. Survival and success. Thank you so much for joining. I welcome one and all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. The only thought that was resonating in my mind while you were speaking, that though we all are practicing social distancing, but this technology has brought us all close, and it has actually broken the walls of geographical distances. We are able to have best pool of eminent experts from the different corners of world, and like you told us, we also have the participants from varied places, and this is truly honor and privilege to hear from them. And I can say that these next 3 days are going to be really very intriguing and informative. With this, moving ahead, we have
कोविड-19 जांच करना भी कर रहा है, पर याद रहे
moving ahead. May I please request everyone to put off their mics so as to avoid any disturbance? May I please request Mr. Sunil Singh, sir, he is a special guest of the occasion, President Aroma and MD, Bajrika Group of Companies. I request Sunil, sir, to please speak few words and share your experience on this.
Thank you so much, Sweta. Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody will find under this pandemic crisis. And on behalf of all alumni, I would like to welcome you all. और मुझे बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है ये देखते हुए कि out of 141 participant, more than 40 participant जो है वो ex APS यूनिवर्सिटी हैं और रीवा विश्वविद्यालय से निकले हुए हैं. और थैंक यू अतुल सर, क्योंकि आपको ये बच्चों स्टूडेंट्स के लिए आपने ऑर्गेनाइज किया है, पर हम बिजनेसमैन के लिए भी पोस्ट कोविड क्या सिचुएशन होने वाली है, क्या मार्केट कंडीशंस होंगी, कस्टमर का क्या सोचना होगा, ये एज ए बिजनेसमैन हमारे लिए भी बहुत जरूरी है ये जानना। और मेरी तरफ से शुभकामनाएं कि ये प्रोग्राम बहुत सक्सेसफुल हो। और जितने भी बाहर से पार्टिसिपेंट आए हैं, थैंक यू सो मच सर, आप लोगों ने टाइम दिया। और डेफिनेटली ये मीटिंग बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग होने वाली है। इंटरेस्टिंग के साथ साथ मुझे लगता है बहुत ही मीनिंगफुल होने वाली है, बहुत ही यूजफुल होने वाली है। थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you so much, sir, for your blessings and having confidence in us. Now, moving ahead, it's the time for address by guest of honor, Mrs. Sita Saminadin. She's from Mauritius. I request Sita ma'am to please give her insight into the theme of e-conference. Sita ma'am, over to you.
दुनिया दो हमारे कॉन्फ्रेंस हम तो बड़ी बिजी हैं, बात नहीं कर पाएंगे, है ना? हाँ हाँ हमने दूसरा बात करना चाहते हैं।
शिशपाल वो समीना देन मैडम का
तो यहाँ से ले आउट सेट कर लीजिए, चेंज ले आउट ये वाला ले लीजिए जो बोलेगा उसको यहाँ पे
शायद नहीं है।
Okay, I think she has left. Okay, I think she is not here right now with us. We'll continue with the next. Yes. Now it's the time for address by industry expert, Mr. Sandeep Singh, sir, arbitrator, Palm Oil Refiners Association of Malaysia. Before I invite Sandeep, sir, I would like to read the detailed profile of experience of Sandeep, sir. Mr. Sandeep Singh is a dedicated and result-driven professional with over 25 years of experience in international trade and marketing in Africa, Middle East, Southeast Asia, and Indian subcontinent. He has been involved in key accounts management, negotiating joint ventures, profit and loss management, and new business and product development. With his varied experiences in the international trade, he will be sharing valuable insights in the trade process and macro scenarios. So with this, may I please request Sandeep sir to please share his experiences in this period of pandemic.
Thanks, Sweta. First, I would ask you, am I audible and visible too? Hello?
Yes sir, you are
Okay, perfect. And I'm good to be connected. So I think it's my great honor to present the paper among the renowned academicians and the fellow panelists that we have. And I'm privileged to be speaking as an industry participant. I really don't call myself an expert, but since I've been working for almost 25 years in international marketing, I would rather say that I will share some insights. And as Atul sir mentioned, I'm now based out of Kuala Lumpur for the last about 20 years. I really thank Atul Pandey sir for giving me this opportunity to connect back with the alma mater, and really blessed to be connected again. We all know this is truly unprecedented COVID times. And as we can say that this invisible infecting virus, which is a minuscule, probably we can say that's about just 1 gram in case about 2 million people are infected. So this particular invisible virus has created a pandemic which the world has not seen for probably about last 100 years. If you combine the events of World Wars, Spanish flu, Great Depression, and some recent economic crisis which has happened over the last 20, 30 years. So this is beyond everything, and it has tested the grit of science. It has tested the beliefs. It has affected the lives and livelihood. And all normal activities have actually dropped very sharply. We have seen complete lockdowns happening in a very short notice. There's been no shopping other than very bare necessities, essentials. There's no cars, whichever brand you have, Maruti, Merc, whatever, it's all parked at home. Airlines, buses, trains, no dining outs, no social gathering. And the list goes on and on, what the human race has not seen ever. A new concept has come out, work from home, and which probably will become a very new normal. And almost about 25% of the global CEOs feel that this will become a new normal for at least 25 to 30% of the companies. And we have a new concept, a new work profile, work for home. तो हम लोग अब सब घर कार के लिए भी घर कार दक्ष हो गए हैं, संस्कारी, सुशील, घर का काम, झाड़ू बर्तन, झाड़ू पोछा बर्तन, वो सब करना सब सीख गए हैं. तो this is a new concept, work from home and work for home also. So I think everybody is happy in that sense in terms of families. But there are many challenges which we will analyze later and which is affecting the whole economies overall. This pandemic is causing about 50 to 60% drop in discretionary spending, consumer spending. And with this, probably the global economy is expected to shrink about 5 to 6% in 2021. Emerging economies, I'm just giving a bit of macro aspects. Numbers can be a bit here and there, but these are assumptions which the people feel as per the current scenarios for last 3 months. Emerging economies, we can see growth decline to 2.5%, and India is among that. In Southeast Asia, where I'm currently based now, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand will take a bigger hit because they have more reliance on tourism, hospitality, white good manufacturing, and the growth there will shrink from current about 5 to 6% to negative 3 to 4%. Indeed, a very grim economic scenario overall. Atul sir, if you remember, we used to talk in management about the VUCA world, the world economies which are volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. But this crisis, COVID crisis, has overtaken everything in complexity. Nobody thought that there'll be more things beyond the VUCA world that we thought of. But we are very sure with the human ingenuity which we have, we will certainly overcome this. We will overcome this volatility with the vision, uncertainty with understanding, complexity with clarity, and ambiguity with agility. So we are very confident that we will certainly pass through this turbulent time. As I'm supposed to speak a bit on the industry, I will rather talk a bit about the industries which have actually been very adversely affected, and also the industries which have been resilient during these tough times. So as we all know, the biggest impact is on the airlines industry, where the impact has been very dramatic. Almost all airlines have zero or near zero passengers. So there's hardly any revenue which comes to them. And we all know that airlines have a very big fixed cost. Like if you take example of Lufthansa or Air France, they have an overhead and a fixed cost of almost €1 billion per month. And with the reserves that they have, they might only sustain for 3 to 4 months. Leaner airlines, small budget airlines can probably last slightly more longer, but within 5 to 7 months, we'll see a very dire effect in the industry. Even as per IATA in India, airlines are looking at the loss of about 11.2 billion and about 2.9 million jobs at risk. The second industry which is highly affected is the hotel industry. We have seen large-scale cancellation with the fear of travel, be it leisure, be it business. So people are not traveling anymore, and bookings have hugely declined. There have been few noticeable, which I even read one article yesterday itself. There have been few noticeable avenues of innovation, like drive-through food takeaways, meals on wheels, do-it-yourself meal kits, and non-food services being offered by five-star hotels. It was a good read. You can read through a lot of new innovative things which are happening to get some sort of a revenue, which is not happening because there's been a drop in F&B sector, MICE, and other sectors also. Sporting, which was...
Sandeep, may I request you to please finish in 2 minutes? Professor Rao has a meeting.
Okay. So yes. I'll have to rush very fast then. I think sporting events also, as we see, has been affected very badly. The depth and duration of the crisis for oil and gas sector is bad. Restaurants, which were actually working on social gatherings, but now the concept is on social distancing. So there's nothing happening there. There's been a huge drop in business, and almost 25% of the restaurants are supposed to close. So among these adversities, as I mentioned, I'm just cutting a bit short because of the paucity of time. There are other industries which have been resilient, like video conferencing, what we are using currently now, cloud computing, a lot of data is migrated to the cloud, electronic payment terms, e-commerce, and there's been a huge growth of traffic, like Amazon has almost over 365 million traffic on a monthly basis. Streaming, gaming and video content platforms, as we all watching TV and pictures and videos. Education, online apps on educations. And this is the very big sector which is affected, and almost about 24%, or almost 1.2 billion of the children are actually affected with this, and they are the future of the industry and the country. So we have to take care. Healthcare is an important segment. Also the telecommunication, which is now the link of civilization, and it will continue on its growth trajectory. As rightly mentioned earlier, there's a big fight for economy and ecology, and the nature has regained in the short span what we had polluted for many years. But we have to see whether this is just a fleeting change, or it would lead to any long-term loss in emission, or fall in emission. We have become more spiritually inclined. Doordarshan, Ramayana, Mahabharata has once again gained highest viewership. We now value a rich cultural heritage of traditional medicines, yoga, and Vedic teachings. And just maybe another 2 minutes on how do we get to the next stage of the crisis, which is very important. There are probably 6 points. I'll rush it across. We have to consider our workforce as extended family, reskill, multi-skill, upskill. We have to repurpose our capabilities. We have to plan ahead, more like a military style organization. We have seen brands which have reoriented themselves, local in terms of delivery, hiring more people, supply chain and automation, and learn and evolve. I think I paraphrase Mr. Charles Darwin, it's not the strongest of species that survive and not the most intelligent. It is the one that is most adaptable to change. So now is the time to actually adapt to the change. We used to talk in management and MBA, just-in-time production. We need to keep inventories low. But now we see this has gone into a paradigm shift. And we have to reconfigure our last mile capabilities, which we did not care earlier because of just-in-time production. As mentioned, almost 25 years of my expertise around food industry and the supply chains. And we feel that there's no bigger industry than the food, which has a loyal customer base of almost about 7 billion people who needs a minimum 2 square meal a day. And with India, with almost about 30% disposable income, we need to work actively on food preservation, delivery innovations, and value additions. I'm just rushing it out. There are many things we want to talk on this, but maybe I can take it in a separate session. Important topic again is on urbanization versus rural transformation. We have seen the sad phase of reverse migration. We need to make our villages self-sufficient entities because this is a big need of time, and we have to create employment back at the village level. Governments have done a lot of things, but now the biggest challenge now is that how fast and how specific all these initiatives reach the needy people. And just maybe a last closing statement. We may not be in the same boat, but we are in the same big storm. And we all are connected like never before. And I'm pretty sure that we will together overcome this crisis. Thank you very much, and look forward to again reconnected whenever there's an opportunity to meet again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Next in the series, I'd like to call the chief guest of the occasion, Professor Nageshwar Rao, sir, Honorable Vice Chancellor. He's a big name in academics and needs no introduction. So without wasting any more time, I request Professor Nageshwar Rao, sir, to please bless us with your words of wisdom and by sharing your experience.
Good morning to all of you. Honorable Vice Chancellor of this prestigious university, Professor Piyush Ranjan Agrawal, my old colleague and my friend, Professor P.K. Singh, Director, MDI Gurgaon, Sita ji from Mauritius, she has already joined back, Sandeep Singh, Sunil Singh, Brijesh Singh, the registrar of this university, Sunil Tiwari ji, head of the department of HRD department, Dubey ji, my colleague Professor R.P. Das ji, and Atul Pandey ji, distinguished delegates, and you all. First of all, I pay my sincere regards to respected Professor V.C. Sinha ji, who always treated this department as his own family, including all the resource persons like me. Thankful to Vice Chancellor of this university who has invited me, and the kindness of Atul ji is always cherished throughout my life. My earlier speaker has already thrown some lights regarding the challenges which our business community is facing. He especially talked about the aviation industry, and the scenario is somewhat the same for other industries also. I do remember in January 2020, in the early January, we used to talk about that how we are going to reach to 5 trillion economy, the target which our Honorable PM has set at that point of time. And we always that out of these 3 strategies, the growth strategies, stability strategies, and the retrenchment strategies, only growth is the relevant strategy in January 2020. During this pandemic, the corona effect, we have forgotten almost the word growth. We are just thinking that how to stabilize our economy, how to go for diversification of various activities, how to see that the areas which have become irrelevant, how to close those areas, how to retrench those areas, how to go for exit. So we are thinking in terms of exit strategies. We are thinking in terms of stability strategies. Rarely any opportunity we are having right at this point of time to go for the growth strategy. Honorable Prime Minister recently has launched a package of 20 lakh crores to revive our economy. He has targeted the medium and small scale industries, through which envision our growth path. And rightly so also, because we see that the people, our laborers, they migrated from metros to the villages. And these villages, they will become the manufacturing hub of tomorrow. Because the people who have gone back to the villages, they are afraid of this coronavirus. And maybe in the next 6 to 8 months, they are not mentally prepared to go back to those metros. This has also opened us a new paradigm shift, that should we focus on metros or should we focus on our own village-based economy? The rural areas that we strengthen further. The migrant laborers, they are to be skilled in a different way. Even my earlier speaker has talked about that we have to work from home. We have to find out the people who can work from home. Their skills, they are to be upgraded. Because when we look at the present day environment, at least 80 to 90% of the people, they are not accustomed to work in such an environment where they have to perform the things from home. Of course, TCS has gone to announce that they have allowed all their employees to work from home for the next 2 to 3 years. This may not be possible for many of us, many of the industries. As most of us are aware that unless the persons are present over there at the workplace, the things may not move. That mindset, that training, that approach towards the work needs to be changed. Even most of the institutions, most of the business houses, they are working by using these fundamentals of work from home, but they are getting only 5 to 10% people who are coming to perform that particular task. So need for reskilling, need for updating their skills, that has become the core issue to which we all are confronting right at this point of time. And when we look at the education scenario, here also lots of changes they are going on. And we are seeing that these 3 modes of learning, the conventional mode, the ODL mode, and the online mode. And everywhere we are getting only one word. That word is that online teaching and learning process. Even in the conventional mode also, where the classes they are to be held, where the face-to-face teaching, face-to-face learning has to take place in a class of 60. Maybe tomorrow, because of this physical distancing, we cannot have 60 students in the same class. We will have only 36 there. For 24 students, either we have to go for another section with the same resources, or we have to go for alternative mode of reaching to the learners. And that is why here, the online mode of learning, it is coming up in a big way. And most of you might be aware of the MHRD's initiatives recently, wherein it is more and more laying emphasis on the Swayam Prabha channels, the channels which are at the home of the learner. 33 channels, they are already there. And these 33 channels, they are specifically meeting to the educational requirements of the learners. They are on the Dish TV. And the first 10 channels, they are for the engineering technology courses. The next 10 channels, they are the UG and PG programs. Then next 4 channels, they are for the competitive examinations like IIT and other things. And then the 5 channels, they are for certificate and diploma programs. And 1 is for the small children. Now recently, Minister has announced that from class 1 to class 12, they are going to have 12 channels, specifying that 1 channel each for each class. What basically it conveys? It conveys that now the distance learning or the online learning, that is taking an important role in the new normal. And the classroom learning, the face-to-face learning, which was taking place before February 2020, now that is to be replaced at least partially by these channels or by the e-resources available all over the country. There was a UGC circular issued on 25th of March, which has contained around 12 to 13 sources. And these sources, they were already available in the country. The only thing is that we were not focusing on that. Now the time has come to look at those resources. One of these resources is National Digital Library, which is having 4 crore books, 4 crore books, so many dissertations, so many research projects, so many things they are available in e-content form. E-content apps are available. So anyone who want to learn, who would like to get the best possible learning opportunities, they can avail these e-resources and also these channels. They all are free of cost. It does not cost to the learner also. So this changed environment, this changed scenario is giving us a new educational environment wherein we can see that how we can move ahead. One more important thing which has come up recently is the Swayam platform. Swayam platform focuses on the course-based learning, not the program-based learning. Program, 10 to 12 courses are there. In MA, 12 programs are there. In MBA, we are having 24 courses. If you have completed 23 courses, you will not get MBA degree, since you have not completed the 24th course. But once you look at the course-based learning, there you can clear each and every course. And specifically, you can clear 20 courses, even then you will certification for these 20 courses. 23 courses, you will get the certification for that. And this process is not only existing in our country, but it has become a worldwide phenomenon. The edX and Coursera, they are the worldwide platforms. And you see that lots of people, they are going themselves registered to these platforms to lay emphasis on the course-based learning. In our country, MHRD has gone for this SWAYAM platform. There also the course-based learning, it is being advocated. And you appear in a particular course, registration is free of cost. Only the certification is costing us, certification from the university. And 40% of these, right now it is 20%, 20% of these SWAYAM courses which you clear, for which recently, I think a week back, UGC has issued a letter to all the universities that they can give credit to 20% of these SWAYAM courses in their curricula also. So remaining 80%, now they have to go for face-to-face learning. So substitutions to the face-to-face learning is also going on. So lots of changes are going on. Industry, education, transportation, then you see health infrastructure. Here also the demands, they are going up. But we see that there are areas where the demands are not picking up. We have to wait for some more time. But the future is good. Future is bright. We all will overcome this pandemic. And we should not think about a pessimistic outlook about it. Ultimately, we see that the growth strategy is our goal. And we will ultimately think on those lines with the willpower which we all are having in this great endeavor. My sincere best wishes to Atulji, because I always feel Atul as my student, and I know that in this particular department, I had visited almost 40 to 50 times. And since 89 to 2002, I can regularly say that I have interacted almost all the students of particular department. And for that, I'm really thankful to Atulji and also to
Thank you so much.
Sinhaji. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing the informative words and giving us a glimpse on the practical magnitude of the industry in this period of pandemic by highlighting different aspects. Thank you very much. Next in the series, it's time for address by key speaker, Professor P.K. Singh, sir. He's the Director MDI, Gurugram, Haryana. Before I request Professor P.K. Singh, sir, I'd like to read briefly his profile of experience. Dr. P.K. Singh, sir, has more than 3 decades of experience in academics in the field of postgraduate teaching in management, training, research consulting, and academic administration. He has also worked as Director in charge of Indian Institute of Management, Indore, and Chairperson of Academic Committee of IIM Sambalpur. Dr. Singh has trained more than 15,000 executive participants from almost all walks of professional activities across all levels of hierarchy. We are really privileged to have such personality between us. Now, I straight away request Professor P.K. Singh, sir, to please share his experience and give the words of wisdom from his side. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Shweta Hotwani ji. Namaskar. Honorable Vice Chancellor and Chief Guest of this webinar, Professor Nageshwar Rao Sahab. Honorable Vice Chancellor of APS University, Rewa, Professor Piyush Ranjan Agrawal Sahab. Special guest, Mr. Sunil Singh ji. Guest of honor, Madam Sita Saminandan ji, Mr. Sandeep Singh ji, Professor Sunil Tiwari ji, my younger brother, Professor Atul Pandey ji, Dr. Brajesh Singh ji, Registrar of the University, my friend, philosopher and guide, Professor R.P. Das ji, and entire family of Avdesh Pratap Singh University, Rewa. I'm very happy to be with you all, and time is limited, and if I can complete within 8 minutes, I think I'll contribute to the cause for ending this webinar inaugural session by 12:15. So that is also my responsibility now. I would like to say that Rewa University has one very significant contribution in my own professional life. You see, when you join as a lecturer and you take lecture in your own university, you think nothing great about yourself in the beginning of the career. But if somebody invites you and says that you come and deliver some guest talk, then you feel elated, again in the beginning of career. And Professor V.C. Sinha ji, so kind, so loving personality. I was very young in 1993, and then he asked me to come to Rewa and deliver talk. I was so happy. And Professor Nageshwar Rao ji also motivated me. He was director of the institute where I was working in Ujjain. And those days, Rewa had no train connection. You have to get down at Satna, and road condition was very bad. You have to eat dust while reaching to Rewa. But those dust used to give me a feeling that I'm being showered by dust of Chandan. वीसी सिन्हा साहब के पास जाना है, रीवा विश्वविद्यालय में जाना है, और मैं क्या कह सकता हूँ बहुत कम शब्दों में. I pay my best regards to Professor V.C. Sinha sahab. He has built this department, and since those days, Professor Atul Pandey and all loving colleagues of Rewa. I have no words. I should be allowed to talk for 1 hour on how my experiences with Rewa, but I will stop here. I'll go to some other issue. You see, this pandemic, COVID-19, has put us to a different situation. I will appeal deeply to all my fellow brothers and sisters listening to me. Please never utter, it is a bad time. Just say, it is a different time. It is not bad time. It is not unrealistic time. This is the reality, we have to accept it. And where is the way out from here? This way out is also hidden in the emblem of AP University Rewa. And if we stick to that emblem message, we can come out of this situation as winner. And the emblem of APS University Rewa says, Tejasvinavadhitamastu. If you read the emblem of APS University Rewa, and this Tejasvinavadhitamastu has come from an invocation sutra of Upanishad, which says, Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Sahviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. तो इसी में देखिए आया तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु. What does this mean? I will not go to the full sutra. Only what is included in our emblem of APS University. तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु का हिंदी का अर्थ होगा हम सब एक साथ तेजस्विता को प्राप्त करें. In English it may be called as we all should together, standing together, we all should together make a journey from darkness to light. Tejasvinavadhitamastu. So, message is already hidden. You see, every student, every research scholar, every professor, every employee of any organization or any university should at least think for 3 minutes per week on the emblem of the organization where you are working. And you will find you are connected to the source of energy. So that is the call, that we have to collectively make a journey from darkness to light. Let me say quickly, within a minute, nature of this COVID-19 and lessons from this COVID-19. Nature of this COVID-19 is not like fatafat cricket. 2020 cricket jaisa nahi hai. What we had thought earlier, that remain in house for 21 days and we shall not be backed by 21 days. And 22nd day, the sun will be shining outside and happily we can go and mingle around. No, we were proved wrong. This is like a long duration cricket test match, not 2020 match. And we have to learn living with it. For some time, it is going to become part of our life, and we have to live with this without complaining to God. ऐसा दिन क्यों दिखाया? Whatever the God has shown the day, we have to accept. Guru Nanak says in Japji Sahib, Jo tudu bhave sai bhalikar, tu sada salamati nirankar, that, oh God, whatever days you are showing to me, my best course of action actually is connected to whatever you have designed for me, and I surrender to you. That's why without complaining to God, we have to accept this nature. And let me tell you 2 or 3 wonderful lessons that we are learning from Corona, COVID-19, which I have learned. I would like to share with you quickly, again within 45 seconds. First learning I got from Corona is that Sukh deh mein nahi hota hai. We have become so much dehadhyasi. We have become habituated of deriving joy out of bodily happiness. And Corona is saying, keep loving your fellow persons in the family, in the friend circle, in society, but maintain a distance. Muhabbat kariye, lekin duri ke saath, because the actual affection is in psychological field of, let us say, interaction. It is in a spiritual domain, not necessarily in physical domain. First lesson, dehadhyasi hone se aage badhiye. Second lesson Corona is saying, which we have been teaching in management colleges, be a good listener. And students are not listening, but how to become a good listener. But here in COVID-19 situation, when we have become more habituated of online teaching, training, etc., and then we are saying, when a speaker is saying, please yourself be on mute mode. Please mute yourself and unmute yourself only when you have to speak. And you have not to speak, please mute yourself so that the speaker becomes effective. See, great lessons are coming. And 3 things I would like to say. In this COVID-19, every individual, either be a professor or be any person on the road, in the society, 3 things we must follow. Number 1, we must put certain effort to remain healthy. Second, we should be happy, and whatever can be done to become happy, we should do. And third, we should be creative. My humble formula includes 3 factors: health, happiness, and creativity. With these 3, we shall steer further together. Now, quickly, within 5 minutes, I'll summarize saying about business management challenges and strategies. And very nicely, my earlier speaker, Mr. Sandeep Singh Saab, he emphasized on the industry industry side, and Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Nageshwar Rao ji gave picture of both the sides, industry as well as the new challenges of online facilities for teaching and research and other things, and government facilitation in that area. I will choose some other course so that variety is included in our inaugural session. That business management challenges and strategies, I would like to address it from the angle of managing education of business management in conventional system. Riva University has one MBA department, HRD department. I am serving for an institution called Management Development Institute. Whole institute is committed to cause of education in business management. Earlier, I was serving in IIM Indore, committed to education of business management. And here I would like to count 8 factors, and we have to address all these 8 factors. 5 factors are internal and 3 are external. 5 internal factors are, generally I say sometime in lighter mode, that business management faculty also includes the students, not only professors. Business management faculty is 5-footed creature: teaching, training, research, consulting, and academic administration. Now here, academic administration, that includes the head of the university and also head of the department. Now here, academic administration has to change its gear to support dissemination and assimilation of education through these new challenges, through this online mode. Let me submit humbly that even in conventional universities, we have to design our syllabi in such a way that it gives a proper combination of face-to-face teaching and online mode. This combination should stay Maybe it is 50-50, 80-20, 20-80, but the time has come. Every faculty needs to be trained for assimilating knowledge and for disseminating knowledge through online mode. Similarly, training or research. I will just say quickly within two sentences that in our institution, teaching, training, research and academic administration already have been aligned to online mode, and we are feeling sufficient degree of confidence. I do not know because in last 2 months we have not done any consulting through online mode, so I cannot share with you the direct experience of how consulting can happen through online mode, but we'll design for it. So teaching, training, research, consulting and academic administration are 5 internal factors, and we have to properly gear up and align according to the demand of the new situation. These are 5 factors which are internal, and 3 factors external. They are, number 1 is government, second one is academic regulators, and third one is industry. Now you see, central government to greatest extent we can say has already tuned its all efforts to help education to align with new challenges. So there is no much complaint. Of course, many things can be done because government is only responsible for helping internet to reach to those places where it is not available. So challenges are with government also, but we can fairly say that central government or to greatest extent respective state governments, they are proactive to the situation and they are helping us. As far as academic regulators are concerned, academic regulators are also, for example, UGC or AICTE or state government regulators, they are also gearing up and we are getting right kind of advices from them. And last point I would say about industry, industry need to be empathetic with the needs of educational institutions running business management. And you see, we are facing certain challenges in retaining our summer project or retaining our final project, and industry are responding well. Some industries, they are only short-term oriented. They are giving some harsh reaction, but I would request that industry need not to fall into the trap of reaction to the situation. Industry need to be more responsive, and tomorrow will come when academic institutions imparting MBA and industry, they will be fine-tuned in better way. So let me complete by saying that the time has come where we need to feel strengthened. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samsita. Shakti hame dijiye aur hum Shakti hai hum mein. So we will be able to come out of it. And let me say that ab hawaएं ही करेंगी रोशनी का फैसला, जिस दिए में जान होगी वो दिया रह जाएगा. That's why we need to properly arrange our diya, and we will keep showing light and guidance to the society. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your remarkable words and driving us towards the positivity by highlighting the way out to live the journey from dark to light. I think we all are feeling to some extent a positive vibe after listening from you. Next in the series, I'd like to call the guest of honor of today, Miss Sita Samanadin, ma'am. She's a director, Stephen Business School, Mauritius. Sita, ma'am, can you hear me? May I please request guest of honor, Miss Sita Samanadin, ma'am. She's the director, Stephen Business School, Mauritius.
Hello, everyone. I hope you are being able to hear me.
Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Okay. Thank you, Shweta. Thank you. I'm getting some connection problems, but
No issues, ma'am.
first, okay. So first of all, my very warm greetings to everyone in the audience. all those participants who have taken their precious time to log into this 3-day e-conference, and also all the honored participants, academicians, and university representatives. It is a very big pleasure for me to be present in this forum, and it is a privilege and an opportunity for me to express myself in such a, how can I say, honored forum. So my intervention will be focusing more on the aspect of relationship marketing and the challenges that we have encountered during this COVID period. Today, it is a very special day for Mauritius because after many days of lockdown, today is our first day where we are opening up. Not maybe the frontiers are not open today, but within Mauritius today, people are able to go to work, they are going to supermarkets, they are going to the banks, and there is, how can I say, there is a thrill in the air because it has been an experience. We cannot say a terrible experience, but it has been a really different experience for all of us to all of a sudden find ourselves at home with family, working from home, studying from home, and trying to make things happen while staying disconnected from others. As our previous speakers have emphasized, it has been an opportunity for us, maybe for the whole of humanity, to go through a paradigm shift. What we thought as being normal previously is no more normal nowadays. The new norms of normalcy have been challenged and greatly changed. So now in terms of relationship marketing, where every time emphasis has been put on we need to have solid relationships, we need to create relationships with our customers, our suppliers, our main stakeholders. So here the challenge has intensified, because how do we create a relationship with others when we are not able to connect with them face to face? Because connecting with people face to face is sometimes, it has always been seen as one of the best ways to increase connection, to increase engagement. So in this time of COVID, we have come across examples of ingenuity where people who maybe never thought of social media, who didn't even think of using social media for their activities, they have come across social media as being the one way of relating with others. So the previous way that we were relating, the relationship building that we were doing previously has been greatly transformed. We are looking at it positively, and things are moving ahead.
मैम आपका माइक म्यूट हो गया है.
Just hold on. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Thanks for that. I'm just following. In terms of relationship building, we have seen that we are now differently. We are making relationships differently, and the emphasis, we are going now beyond the barriers of being in a face-to-face interaction to be able to consolidate our relationships. So marketing has changed in a pivotal way. Nowadays, even when the person who is cultivating, who is bringing in, who is working in a field, when he has to sell his produce, he's now turning to relationship marketing, to digital marketing, and this has changed the conventional way of doing business. Even in Mauritius, where people are so much for proximity, where we go around strolling, we go to our markets and everything, so things have really changed. And this is not a change which is only going to stay when we were under lockdown or when things were happening differently. there has been a sustainable change in the way we are doing business. And this is something that we are going to keep as being a positive side of whatever has happened. As all our previous speakers have been putting emphasis on, although COVID has brought much change in our lifestyle, unfortunately, we have gone through many situations where people have lost their lives. There are people who have suffered, who have gone through a trauma with whatever has happened. But on the other side of the coin is this paradigm shift which has been brought in the way we are doing business, in the way we are discussing, in the way that we are relating with our customers, we are relating with our suppliers. This is something that is going to remain even beyond when the lockdown, when this whole problem will have been solved. And this is something which is going to be positive. As we say, if we are in a growth mindset, this is something that we are going to keep and which is going to be like a building block for the era, for the years to come. So with this will be my intervention. It has really been a pleasure to be in this forum. I know that there have been some technical problems. I hope that you have been able to follow my intervention and are agreeable to my point of view. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for wonderfully articulating about the opportunities in the field of relationship marketing we are facing in this period of pandemic. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next in the series, may I please request for the presidential address, may I please request our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Piyush Ranjan Agarwal, sir, to please bless us with your words of wisdom, sir. Thank you. Sir, we cannot hear you. Your mic is off. Please put on your mic. Honorable VC, sir, we cannot hear you.
Is it okay
Yes.
now?
Yes, sir. Now it's okay.
Yes,
You're
sir.
audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
It is okay now.
I'm very happy to be with you in the inaugural session of the 3 days e-commerce e-conference on challenges and strategies organized jointly by the two departments of HRD and the business management. First of all, I congratulate the head of both the department, their faculty members, the members of the organizing committee. It was really a pleasure for me to listen and hear Professor Nageshwar Rao, Professor P.K. Singh ji, Madam Sita, Mr. Sandeep Singh ji, and I'm finding Professor R.P. Das with us. Welcome, Professor R.P. Das. Namaskar, namaskar. All the faculty members, the registrar of the university, Dr. Bridesh Singh, distinguished professor of the university, young faculty members, research scholar, student of the university, all the members of the alumni association, participants, delegates. Then in very short notice, you have prepared such a good profile of the participants. When the discussion was going on with the head of the department, Professor Sunil Tiwari and Professor Atul Pandey, how to proceed on, there was a lot of optimism in our mind that COVID-19 pandemic is there. One day, few weeks after, few months after, we shall be out of it. And after a very prolonged lockdown, emotional, mental, physical, infrastructural, economic, academic, and all that, where the country shall proceed on. And one thing that I have noticed, unlike other Western world, especially USA, there was no major social disorder in the country. There were problems in managing the whole issue of the workers, migrant workers. So India remained socially very calm and quiet. And everybody is trying at the family level, at the business level, at the organization level, at the bureaucratic level, at the medical level, to contribute extraordinarily to the country and society. Second, very important feature I have witnessed in last 10 weeks, 12 weeks, that India has been a mixed economy where the public sector enterprises have a role to play. The role of Air India or NTPC, or even the cooperatives like the Saatchi and the Amul, all the basic necessities, they were never short in supply. How could they manage their supply chain? It has been an issue of applaud for us. Our necessities have been met very seriously by these organizations. Third point I have witnessed, on one side PVRs are closed, shopping malls are closed, but these khudra vyaparis, retail shops, the retail workers, the small artisans, they remain active. So unlike USA, a capitalist economy, the socialistic economy, not purely the socialist economy, mixed economy of India, which is a mix of both, where the big players are there, corporates are playing together with the small one. The small one have taken a role of that. Earlier, Mr. Sandeep Singh has mentioned about in the entire process of supply chain, now time has gone out of the JIT, just in time. So these khudra vyaparis have become the hub of the supplies. They have become the warehouse for the mohalla supplies. These are the few observations I have made. In terms of the dichotomy of the economy where we are entering now, already entered, I can say already we have entered. One part is the domestic macroeconomy, other is the external one. So on domestic side, I am seeing that there is a fall in GST collection, there is a fall in VAT collection, and the government of India or the state government or the other local bodies are facing the crunch of the fall of the revenue. And how would they meet their requirement is a big challenge. I'm not taking that point here because the time is very short. But on external front, I will say there are very positive notes. And the reason is 85% of our crude oil requirement we import. So with the lockdown, the consumption has reduced. This first point. Second out, throughout the world, there is a fall in the demand of energy. So the oil price, crude oil price in world market has reduced from $50–60 per barrel to $20 to $30. It is hovering around $30 a barrel. So the result is, when in the year May 2019, our forex reserve was $421 billion. With the end of May, now in June, from $421, this has crossed $500 billion forex reserve. So forex reserve, there has been a swell of 22% to 25%. Second very important feature is that in March 2020, because epidemic was already there was a distress on the part of hedge funds and other financial institutions worldwide. From FI side, FPI side, foreign portfolio side, in March 2020, there is withdrawal of 1,20,000 crore from Indian market, capital market. And from March, April, since January, there has been a withdrawal. But it is a litmus test. Then in May 2020, there's a reversal in the process, and FPIs, FIs have pumped 20,000 crore afresh in Indian market. So we are so skeptical about economy. So on two sides, the foreign exchange has swelled, record $500 billion. The FPIs have restarted pumping their capital to Indian market. The reason is our Indian financial market has been one of the most efficient market. You can say second and third in the world. Thirdly, there has been an emotional, psychological, and political reason that worldwide, the Western world and their people suffering with all these epidemics have somehow, they are trying to distance from China. So there are two biggest economies in terms of the size of stomach, size of population, China and India, where the labor force is there, where the consumers are there, market is there. So they are thinking somehow to shift and diversify their portfolio of investment, whether it is FIs or FDI, to Indian market. So day before yesterday, Government of India has opened the coal market, energy sector. So there are the things that is shifting towards the positive side. Another positive side is, you see, since 1987, there has been a black day. There has been a recession. There has been the New York Stock Exchange crash. 10 years after it, in 1997, there was a South Asian financial crisis. 2007, there has been a subprime crisis. And when we were discussing in the classroom and other forums, the impact of subprime crisis in 2007 and 8, I always said that India gains out of it. So on external side, with the fall in oil price, with the fall in interest rate, especially the LIBOR index, the cost of capital will fall, oil will fall, return overall in the world market will fall. India is going to provide another big opportunity and canvas to foreign investors, and we shall gain out of it. So I'm just closing my entire statement with an optimistic note, especially addressing my young students of MBAs and other programs, PG program, UG programs, BBAs, research scholars, and young faculty, that once we cross over this short-term problem of epidemic, our next macroeconomy shall be towards a positive note. Industry by analysis we will make in next 3 days. I wish all success. I especially thank my all chief guests, special speakers, especially Professor Nageshwar Rao ji, Professor P.K. Singh ji, and I congratulate the team of the organizers, the head of the departments, that you have organized a beautiful program. I wish a big success in 3 days international this national event. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for upscaling our stock of knowledge by wonderfully giving us insight into the challenges and opportunities in today's economic scenario of pandemic. Thank you very much, sir. Moving ahead for proposing a vote of thanks, may I please request our Registrar of the University, Dr. Brijesh Singh, sir.
हेलो
जी सर, आ रही आवाज आ रही सर?
आई एम विद यू. 3 days national e-conference on challenge and strategies in business management in COVID era के इस inaugural session में हमारे honorable president, chair, guest of the occasion, vice chancellor of our university, Professor Piyush Ranjan Agrawal ji, our chief guest, Professor Nageshwar Rao ji, vice chancellor, our key speaker, Professor P.K. Singh, Director, MDI Program, our industry expert, Mr. Sandeep Singh ji, Palam Oil Refineries of Malaysia, our special guest, Ms. Sita Saminden, Director, Stephens Business School, Mauritius, and our special guest, Mr. Sunil Singh ji, President Aroma and MD, Badrika Group. Our 3-day National E-Conference Coordinator is Professor Atul Pandey ji, Dean, Faculty of Management Studies, University Riva, and our whole conference convener, Professor Sunil Tiwari ji, Professor in charge MBA, HRD, and all participants. आज विश्व कोविड-19 से होने वाले सामाजिक और आर्थिक प्रभावों की चिंता कर रहा है. आज के इस चैलेंज में हमारी क्या भूमिका हो, इस विचार करना आज की एक बहुत बड़ी आवश्यकता है। 3-day नेशनल ई कॉन्फ्रेंस में बहुत कुछ फाइंडिंग्स और कंक्लूजन प्राप्त होंगे। कोविड-19 के द्वारा फैले सामाजिक और आर्थिक प्रभावों को कम करने में हम सफल होंगे, ऐसा विश्वास है। मैं इस ई कॉन्फ्रेंस की सफलता की शुभकामना करते हुए सम्मिलित समस्त ऑनरेबल पार्टिसिपेंट्स को मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद ज्ञापित करता हूं। थैंक यू।
Thank you so much, sir. With this, we have come to the end of the inaugural session of this 3 days National E-Conference. At last, I request all the participants to please join the technical session 1, which is on general management. The links were already mailed to you. We're going to start the technical session very shortly. The participants are already lined up. So please join the technical session 1. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Just a minute, please. I find Professor Pateria who has joined us just now. Professor Pateria, namaskar. Thank you, Professor PKC. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Professor R.P. Das and Professor Pateria are key speakers in the next technical session, sir.
जी, मैं ये समझ रहा हूँ इस बात को. They have joined in time. We are a little bit late. Thank you.
Sir. Thank you very much to everyone. We welcome you all to technical session.
Namaskar.
I have shared the link of first technical session in the chat box also. So I request participants to please join. Thank you. We will start in 2 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.